Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, my family members in Christ. I'm Frank Fourie, a saint at Oxygen Life, and also head up the Seed Business Platform, which is part of Oxygen Life. What a privilege it is for me just to be able to share a little bit about my story with you. But before I get into that, I would just like to encourage each one of you in saying that all of you have a story to be told. Doesn't matter if you're charismatic or not, doesn't matter if you're introvert or extrovert, you have a story to be told. So as a young man, I grew up in a household with a single parent. I knew my mom. Dad passed away when I was 4 years old, and it was my brother and I who my mom raised us for about 9 years. She raised us as a single parent, and we used to go to church every Sunday, like the average South African household. And there was always altar calls, and I always went up to altar calls and to renew my life again every Sunday. But come back Monday, I will just turn back to my old ways and just fall into my old habits and my old patterns. Yeah, so there wasn't really a relationship with God at the time. I knew of Him, but I didn't know Him. And as a youngster, I was, as the eldest in the household, I was always thrown into different type of leadership roles at home, responsibilities, also at school, at primary school, and also at high school. You know, and all of these responsibilities I had to carry put a lot of pressure on me. And I just wanted to be a kid. I wanted to be with friends. I wanted to just explore life. And feeling all this pressures of responsibilities, I gave myself over to the world and what the world's got to offer, and completely lost my way. And also when I went into my military service, it just escalated from military service to varsity days. It just escalated from just throwing myself and trying to fill this gap, because I had this tremendous gap which I couldn't fill and which could not be filled. However, the more I try and the harder I try, I just couldn't fill this gap. Gave myself to everything that the world had to offer. And that gap, like I referred to, just couldn't be filled with the things of the world. And so my story is, my salvation story is a process. It's a story of process, and with really very much divine meetings with the Lord inside that process, where spiritual growth just escalated. However, the storyline is a story of process. And it was in 2010 when I had my first real encounter with God. It was a Sunday morning. Went out with a bunch of friends to go play golf in a little town just outside Port Elizabeth. And on my way back, it started to rain quite heavily. And it was just my mate and I coming back, and we were in my bakkie, and on the N2 I hit a puddle of water, standing water, and my bakkie aquaplaned. And as I aquaplaned, I hit the barrier, I rolled a few times, the airbags deployed, it hit me unconscious for a while, and I was trapped in the bakkie for about an hour. I had to be cut off with the jaws of life. And even while I was trapped in the vehicle, while the paramedics came to the rescue and they got into the car, I was lying on the side. I think it was on the side or on the roof. And I just had this complete calmness about me. I was so calm, which I now know it was the Lord who kept me so calm during that process. Because the first thing I did when I woke up, I was looking for my friend, and he was outside the vehicle already. Luckily, nothing happened to him. And so from there onwards, I was in hospital for about a week, and then I had to be home for 2 months. And in that 2 months, I started asking questions about what is life? What is life about? What is my purpose? What is the purpose of life? And I started reading the book, Purpose Driven Life of Rick Warren. And God started speaking to me about that book, and to show me there's much more to life. Because you must understand, every Friday and Saturday, the party was at the Fourie's home. You know, we were hosting, and we were just doing what we needed to do to entertain our friends. And every morning I woke up and I was realizing, but I don't feel so well. And I felt the emptiness. So God showed me in that month that there was more to life. And that He was alive. So that was the 2 months of seriously encounter God and just seeing who God is and who I am in God. And what He did for me. And how He died on the cross for me. And how He started changing my life from that season onwards. So we can really much say that things started to change from after those 2 months. I remember one of my ladies working for me. At the time I had my own business, and she's been working for me now already for 16 years. And at that time, I used to tell her that this is what I'm going to do this year. This is my new change. And I remember afterwards she told me she was wondering how long is this going to last. You see, but God brought everlasting change to my life. Everlasting change. And as I mentioned, my story is a story of process. And then came 2015, where one very good friend of mine came to me. He was at my work and he said to me, Frank, there's something I would like to share with you. Something that I'm seeing that I would like to share with you. And he shared and he said that he was walking and he's seeing and walking through this green pastures. And in this green pastures, there's a white picket fence running straight through the middle. And he says that he sees that I'm walking on this white picket fence. And as I'm walking on this white picket fence, on the left-hand side, I could see angels, and on an angel, and on the right-hand side, I could see angels. And as I was walking closer to these angels, on the left, I could see it was the angel of death, it was Lucifer. And on the right-hand side, I could see it was God's angels. Where Lucifer was asking me, and he says to me, Frank, what are you doing on that fence? Come down to me. And I said, no, Lucifer, you don't understand. I'm not on your side. I'm on this side. I'm on this side where the under angels are. The angels of God are. And Lucifer said to me, Frank, you don't clearly understand. You see my boy, that fence belongs to me. So even knowing God and started to walking with the Lord, I wasn't fully committed. Even though I thought I was, there were still things in my life that needed to change. So in 2015, I had to make some adjustments. I needed to make more adjustments in my life to even start walking more faithfully with the Lord, so that the fruit can be even more real. So God filled that gap from 2010 onwards, and even the longer my journey went, God started filling the gap even more that I couldn't fill, that the world couldn't fill prior to Him actually really taking control over my life. That gap could only be filled by God. And the way He filled my life, for each person listening to this, He can do that to you. If He can do it to me, a person that was completely lost, and it was given his life to what this world's got to offer, He can give that peace. He can bring restoration to each one of you. Thank you. And my prayer, thank you for listening. And my prayer for each and every one out there who is listening to this is that God will come, that the Holy Spirit will come and He will fill you up. And He will restore your life the way He did mine. Bless you, brothers and sisters. And thank you for listening.